Welcome to the Startup Storytelling Podcast by Lean Rocket Lab. I'm your host, Brandon Marken, and this is the podcast where we dive deep into the real, raw, and unpredictable journeys of entrepreneurs, especially those making waves right here in Jackson, Michigan. Joining me for our inaugural episode is my fantastic. Oh boy, I can't even.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm so excited to be here. Oh my gosh. We have been talking about this for so long to do a podcast, and I am ecstatic that we're here doing this. And we have our own, very own Jackson County visionary, Josh, that we're going to have on here as our inaugural podcast. And so I can't wait to get down and talk about all of the great things about how he started his business.
Yeah, I think this is going to be just an incredible, exciting thing. It's going to be fun doing this with you. I'm excited about that. A little nervous just to hear what comes out of it. But I think that, you know, our main goal, we talked about this a lot of times, but just to inspire people. I think hearing the stories of entrepreneurs, especially people that are here in our community, is amazing, and it's inspirational. And I hope people are encouraged by it, and it's going to be fun to hear about the journey.
It is. I really do hope people find it inspirational. I think that a lot of times entrepreneurship can feel isolating and very lonely, and you have like the fails that you deal with and the ups that you have that you celebrate sometimes by yourself, you know? So I think it'll be great for our audience to hear like the aha moments, the grit, the like what gets you through, what keeps you getting up every day and doing it the next day, right? So like I'm excited to like get down and talk about that with some of our entrepreneurs.
Yeah, you know, when I was earlier in my journey as a business owner, entrepreneur, and I would see people that were really, I thought, really successful in business, I just believed in my mind that that's just how it always was.
Yeah.
And that, like, man, there's something different between me and them because they are so, you know, successful, kind of outside looking in. And the more I've gone in my journey, the more I've gotten to know those folks and learn their stories and work with entrepreneurs, you realize there's actually a lot more similarities in the path, you know, and that it's the overnight success is the people that look like they have just all of it figured out. It's a lot of like fail, invisible, you know, behind the scenes, and then succeed and succeed a little bit and then fail some more and then succeed some more. And next thing you know, you are doing something cool that is working. And so I just think telling those stories so other people know what the journey looks like, what that path looks like, and they don't believe the lie that it's just supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
It's not been my story for sure,
you
know, and I think what we're going to find is a lot of the people that we have on this show that have incredible stories. It was hard and it was challenging, and it still is.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, entrepreneurship is hard.
No
matter
doubt.
where you are in it, it is hard.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these guests are people that we're friends with and colleagues, and we've gotten to know them, and they're like amazing people. They're inspirational people. They have overcome a lot. They've worked super hard to do stuff. And so it's going to be great to let them tell their stories. And hopefully we are up to the task.
We are.
Of bringing that out of them. So in a way that's educational, entertaining, valuable,
entertaining,
for our
inspirational,
people. Yeah.
all of the above. Yeah, motivational. No, I'm looking forward to doing this with you. So let's go.
Let's go. Yeah,
let's do this.
Further ado, our first guest today, the inaugural guest on the Startup Storytelling Podcast, is our friend, incredible entrepreneur, business owner, and just all around good dude, Josh Clark, the founder of Angling AI. Angling AI is the industry leader in aluminum molds for making fishing lures, and Josh is going to tell us all about that, and so we'll get a proper introduction. But I think if I'm most excited about one thing with Josh, he's extremely passionate about what he does, very talented, building an incredible company. A lot of times when you get to hear the stories from entrepreneurs, you know, it's like, oh, this guy did this thing 20 years ago, or his dad did this company or whatever, or this gal. Josh is like in it right now, doing it right now. He's making waves right now, like blood on the sword, on the battlefield. And we get to know him pretty well and work closely together, you know, at Lean Rocket Lab and what our team does with Josh. And it's just incredible to see the stuff that he's doing, what he's overcoming, and like building this
Right.
straight up fan base
Right.
around his company and his
That's right.
product. And so I'm sure he loves the effusive praise, but without further ado, Josh, welcome to the show, man.
Welcome, Josh.
What do I say? Thank you. I am so honored and humbled that you would think of me as the inaugural, the start to begin this. So happy to do it. So happy to share my story with both of you, and hopefully by the end of this, we inspire a lot of entrepreneurs to not necessarily follow my footsteps, but at least figure out what I did right, maybe what I did wrong that helps them out, and yeah, we can hopefully do that.
No doubt about it. It's going to
Yeah.
be amazing. So,
Yeah.
Josh, tell us first, what is Angling AI? What do you guys do?
We are a machine shop that produces aluminum molds to make your own soft plastic fishing lures that we sell on our website, anglingai.com, all over the world to fishing lure, bait making enthusiasts so they can tailor their own experience and enhance their fishing prowess and all, and just anything. You know, the anglers themselves are their own small entrepreneur. They have, every one of them, I promise you, has their own, this is going to be the best bait in the world. I'm going to catch the biggest fish in this lake. So we really cater to the people with that ingenuity, that hobbyism, if you want to say, that just allows them to be creative.
So,
Love that.
Josh, you have like a really unique story in that your business was launched out of a passion, and you are legitimately a real and formerly professional fisherman.
Mhm.
And so you actually knew what the heck you wanted and what you were doing. And you also happened to know how to run a CNC machine. So you had this kind of like unique intersection of like a passion, a need, and a technical skill. So tell us your story, man. Like, how the heck, I guarantee the general public doesn't even know that people out there make their own fishing lures, let alone that it's this huge market growing, and it's like,
Right.
it's really cool. Professionals are doing this, etc. How the heck did you get started doing this? And tell us just kind of your origin story, if you will.
Sure. It was honestly started out of necessity. By trade, I'm a heating and cooling engineer with a specialty in controls and automation. How does that apply to machining? Well, it's a language in itself. As a mechanical engineer, I was also pursuing a professional fishing career to where I could quit my job one day and I got paid to fish competitively in bass fishing tournaments all over the U.S. And that was something I saw on ESPN on Saturday mornings every Saturday. And I'm like, I want to do that. Right? It just ingrained.
Forget about going to work.
I was
Absolutely.
imprinted.
Right.
Right? It was in my DNA from there. So while I was working full time and pursuing this professional fishing career, I found an avenue to save some money by purchasing aluminum molds from some guy in Arizona. And, I was able to save some money, at least a couple $1,000s a year by, number one, tailoring these baits to the way I wanted them to work, and, from colors to actions, however it was. I was able to do that with the products that this guy in Arizona was delivering. It turned out that 2009 was not a great year for the economy. So I lost my engineering job. And as a fisherman and super enthusiast, I didn't want to give up on my dream or my passion. So I then needed to start making more of my own baits because I couldn't afford to buy the rest of the baits that were on the shelf. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and my favorite bait, the bait that was working the best at the time, no one made a mold for it. And I literally sat there and I looked at this bait and I go, I can draw it. All I have to do is teach myself how to be a machinist.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
And
That's incredible.
I just sat on it for a minute, and it wasn't very long that I liquidated a very modest, small 401k and found some people here in the area that were willing to build me this little CNC machine that would fit in my basement. And, with $19,000, I started Angling AI in July of 2010. This is our 15th year this month,
Yes, Josh.
right? So I started, and a year and a half later, I made my first mold.
So you straight up cashed out your 401k,
Yes.
bought a CNC machine, which at the time you didn't know how to run a CNC
No.
machine, taught yourself how to do it,
Yes,
and made a mold.
I did.
And launched a company.
And launched the company and never really looked back.
It reminds me of in the
That's me.
the movies where it'd be like, "Don't try this at home,"
Yeah.
or whatever the commercial. That's what I think. As Josh said, like that's not for everybody.
Yeah, right?
That's why entrepreneurs are wired a little different. That's incredible, man.
Correct.
So then, what happened next?
So after that, it was a matter of just trying to make money. What had happened is I had lost my job, and so I'm gonna tell you a story to tell you another story. I'm gonna tell you about one of my biggest successes, which has nothing to do with being successful. Shortly after that, I went through a divorce. Shortly after that, I lost my job. So one of my biggest successes was the year that I made $12,000. I had a $907 a month mortgage payment, and it was never late.
So
for
we're talking
me,
about you
grit.
made 12 grand.
Grit, yeah.
I made
selling
12 grand.
molds.
Yeah.
So you hold on a second. I just want to fill in the blanks here. So you figured out how to make this first mold, and then you spun up a website and just
Yes.
started selling them online.
And then started selling them online. There was a distributor in Indiana that had given me a little bit of leeway, and we're like, hey, we'd like this or we'd like that, and then a couple people started hearing that I'm this person that can make fishing lure molds, and then the floodgate. Let's not call them floodgates. People would call me and say, hey, can you make this? I was like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I can draw it. And I'll say, I'll try to figure it out. Well, how much? And I would be like, oh, $200. Right?
So at
Yeah.
this point,
Just
people
making
are
up the
calling,
figures.
they're like requesting
6,
custom
7
stuff,
days
kinda.
later,
Yeah.
right? $200, 6, 7 days later. I was like, I got it done. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. And then I would not hear from them again, or they would come back with another $200, right? So I had to figure out how to keep piling that $200 on. So what I was doing is I was just doing special requests or what we call custom work, and I'm learning how to operate a CNC machine, how to manipulate this new CAD software that I've never used before, and how to relearn how to draw, right? Because it's nothing compared to the engineering software that I used to use when I would design, heating and cooling systems for giant buildings and this and that. So as I was going, I was getting paid-ish
Yeah.
to get along. And so I did that for years.
I think that is such an important message to anybody who is trying to be an entrepreneur, wants to start their own business. Like you have to get into the weeds and like figure it out. Like whether you want to be a fashion designer, you have to learn how to sew. Honestly, Josh, that is like such a great lesson for people to hear because it is so important. You have to ingrain yourself in what you're trying to accomplish to become really great at it.
Yeah.
So wow.
So that story to, where did we go from there? Coupling with what you just said, I was raised that if you owned a company, you made sure that you could roll up your sleeves and do everything else that you're hiring everybody else to do, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
If you're the business owner, something happens, you need to get up off your desk, and if you got to go out and you got to run product, you better be able to know how to do it. You better know every aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
So I just kept going. And what I was doing was getting by. I was getting by. And
how are you finding your customers? Were you using a marketing plan or were
No,
you using
none.
like your network?
Somebody would say, hey, this guy just made this mold for me, because they get it and they're like, oh my gosh, what is this? And then they would tell somebody else, well, hey, so-and-so said you made a mold for him.
Okay, so
Right?
word of
So
mouth.
I was completely darn near word of mouth. And the distributor in Indiana was somewhat helpful, but extremely greedy. At one point I was like their mold maker, and I'm like, oh no, wait a minute, we gotta have a separation here, right?
Yeah,
And
divorce.
and I'll say they did help pay the bills for a while, but I was also underneath their oppressive thumb. And
Yeah.
and that's putting it as nicely as I can put it. But just kept going, kept learning. And ultimately, what I found out is I wasn't making any real money, right? So where did we go? We started here. How does Josh get to where he's at? And what I found out is I went over a year of just doing custom work, and I had some people contacting me that says, you haven't put anything new on your website. Do you got anything new coming out? And those people outnumbered the people calling for these special one-offs. And what's the difference between a special one-off and one of my ideas that I can put on a website? Nothing other than these are my ideas. And if I put a week's worth of work into a product that I can offer on my website, I can sell it as many times as I want. Where as a custom,
Absolutely, yeah.
most typically I ever did was sell one and I had to start over.
Right.
So once I found out and I made that determination that if I start offering products of my ideas on the website, I started making some money. And what I ultimately found out is I'm pretty damn good at this.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
are.
at this point, you know it works. You're out fishing all the time.
Yeah.
You're like
And
testing ideas.
I
and testing
started
molds.
introducing things that people have never seen before.
Right. You weren't just
And
knocking off the purple
Right.
worm.
The
that
needle,
yeah. Right.
The needle didn't lift a little. It went 45 degrees and higher, and we took off.
So
We
what?
shot.
Yeah. So you throw a couple of your ideas, like duplicatable, scalable products, on the website. You kind of have this paradigm shift of like, okay, I can either be a one-off job shop making something for individual people, or I can release products that are my products,
Right.
put them online. What happened next?
Everything changed. Everything. From needing bigger and more advanced equipment to how I bought my material. Like, I mean, does it make sense? Yeah, it does. I used to buy material and it would take me a whole day to prepare the material just to make it, right? I needed to get materials in ready to make. And I've started meeting people, some of the things that you guys had discussed. And we can touch on that in a little while if you want. But just here locally, we had a multitude of resources. We're a tier 3 community, right? We're a manufacturing community. So some of these things. So what I had to change I had to change everything from, like I said, the machinery I needed to how I got materials into the process. All the while understanding that at some point, if I actually get good enough, I'm gonna have to hire someone and teach them how to do that.
Yeah. So when did that happen? So you're right. Cause I mean, you kind of went from it being like a hobby that was paying you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm paying my mortgage with this, passion project, to like, now I'm buying machines and hiring people.
Yeah.
And at some point you bought a building and moved. When did that happen? What year are we at now? Sort of in the story.
Well, I went solo for just over 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So
You did all by yourself.
You doing
Yes.
the whole deal.
Yep. And for the most part, and so I had the fortunate of some people to help me, like Wade Childs is a local friend. He in and out of just needed some part-time work, so I would hire him, teach him how to do some things, and then what spawned from there is he understood the machining, and then from machining he took off and found a fantastic career. So in the basement I was doing hiring somebody's on an hourly basis, but not like full time. I moved out of the basement and I started getting bigger. I bought a machine, and the one machine I bought did twice as much production as the two machines that I brought out of the basement. So what did that mean? It meant I had more time to design and make more.
Yeah.
A year and a half later, I'm already like the two machines that were running are no longer running, and now I need another machine because this was. I'm
What
just
year was that?
duplicating.
What
That
wa-
was 2017. I bought my first automated machine.
Okay.
And that really, 7 years into it, right? So what did that mean? At that time, can I talk about numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at that time, the 3 years prior were the 3 years that I stayed plateaued and I did custom work, and my revenues were around $60,000 a year. That's revenues, right?
Okay. Okay.
My rent was really low at the time, so I was making decent money. 2017, I decided I'm not going to do customs anymore. I'm going to start putting my own stuff out. So we went from 60,000 to 136,000 in less than a year, right? Because I didn't get the new machine until like July of 2017.
Wow.
So you doubled
You
basically
doubled.
right
I
there.
doubled, right? And then from there, with that one machine, the following year, we went from 136 to 173.
Well, and then so now we're like 2018, 2000, and then something crazy happened.
Yes, absolutely.
Global pandemic.
Yes.
Half the businesses out in the world, it basically puts them out of business.
Yeah.
And then, but you're in the fishing business.
Yeah.
And the only thing
And
that you were
everyone's
allowed
outside.
to do, all of a sudden, everybody is going fishing. And
was
so
insane.
it was insane. So talk about
Yeah, talk about that.
COVID and what happened. You know, all of a sudden, the only thing we're all allowed to do is go fishing.
Well, this is how I explain it. COVID came along, and everybody was sent home,
Yep.
and then everybody was given free money.
Yep.
And the fishing industry bloomed. The entire fishing industry bloomed 40%. So, I mean, that was big. So what happened? Everything recreational fishing went just absolute bonkers, right? So we tripled revenues 300% year over year for 3 years. And it swallowed me whole, just like a
Yeah,
little
that's
worm.
growing pains.
You know, just like some fish just came up and swallowed me to death, right? And now I got to battle it.
How many
And
people did you
We
have to
should
hire
only
during that time?
use fishing metaphors the rest of the way.
I couldn't hire anybody during that time.
No?
Right.
But I was able to stay essential. Given the shop that I was in, I was able to do some work, you know, and it's a couple tiers away, but I actually was small part of a project that made parts for Apache helicopters for the military. So I literally had with the group I had, the right to continue on and work with during the pandemic. So I wasn't able to hire anybody. In fact, I paid someone to stay home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
Because I didn't
Those
know what the
crazy
legality
times.
of it was.
Right.
And
Right.
so I kept them on board with their health care.
Okay.
I just kind of
So
put them
Wow.
on unemployment.
what was the hardest part about blowing up? Like, because you went from like, we're growing, now you're doubling, and then all of a sudden COVID happens, everyone's into the game, you're starting to catch your stride, and now you're tripling year over year. What was the hardest part about when the blow up happened, or the glow up, as the kids say?
The glow up. That's awesome. I'm thinking about it because I don't know if there's a great answer because I didn't have time to think.
Right. You're just
Yeah.
Right.
head down.
You're in a situation where it's fight or flight, and I am a fighter.
Yeah.
Right.
You are.
So I didn't go home worried about anything. I went home thinking about what I had to do next, like what made the most sense, because ultimately we're in manufacturing. So we have to,
Right.
what's our job? Get stuff in, put stuff out. So how do we do that more efficiently? How do we do this?
But now you got like bank problems and getting
Yeah.
capital to grow and people problems. Now you're
Absolutely.
like fighting like a higher. One of my favorite entrepreneur books is Shoe Dog, the Phil Knight Nike story.
Okay.
Always blew my mind how many times he almost went out of business while Nike was exploding. You think from the outside,
Right.
once we start selling, everything's good. But he literally almost lost it 8 times along the way when he was blowing up.
Right.
And I mean, we've worked together a long time. The stories along the way are almost as crazy as the early days.
Only once was I ever super worried. After that, right? During the first 6 years, part of what solidified why I'm still here today, and I've told the story a lot of times, just feeding off of scraps. What was amazing is that the phone would ring every time I needed it to ring. I never hardly ever got what I wanted, but I was always given what I was needed.
Oh,
And sometimes,
man, that's powerful.
sometimes within hours of needing to make a payment.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to quit this. I got to go find a job. I got to do this. And the phone rings. Hey, I need this. And then I look down and I go, I just paid that bill.
Yeah, right.
That
Right?
tells you you're in the
Just
right
like
spot,
So,
Josh.
but I've always been a huge fan of Dave Ramsey, right? So for me,
too.
that was taboo.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's gonna sound horrible, but with the exception of trying to get that first machine, that first automated machine, the one that took me off, I was broke then. And you got time for a story?
Oh yeah, man. That's
So,
what we're here for.
Yeah.
Um,
Please.
there's a local person who used to work for the credit union I'm in, and I've told this story a bunch of times, and she is directly responsible for where I'm at today. I went around because I needed a loan for this machine. I didn't have it. This machine cost what I was basically doing in revenue every year at that time. Right. And I went to the big banks, and the big bank says, oh, the little banks aren't going to do this. And only one person, her name is Nicole Johnson.
Nicole.
She's no
I love
longer with
Nicole.
True Community. She's the only one who secured that loan for that piece of equipment
Ugh.
for me. And the rest of them says, well, we can't give you all that, even though they were talking down. So yeah, that I got the new machine.
She's
I
a
got
member,
it
by the way,
set,
of the lab.
right?
Just say that.
Yeah. So I got the brand new machine, and I got it set. I drove to a friend's machine shop to borrow some tools to make.
That's
Right?
unbelievable.
I didn't have the money for the tools, so I borrowed some tools.
Unbelievable.
And on the way back, the engine in my truck blew up.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
And I'm like, what? And so I limped it back to the shop. And the only thing I could do is get out and go make a mold.
Right?
No, I just went out and make a
You're
mold.
like, I'm
I
just
was
gonna go
like
make a
literally
mold.
broke. I was literally broke. I had zero money, no retirement. No, I didn't have any reserve. I had to end up borrowing some money from my family to pay for the new engine. Someone loaned me a vehicle to drive for a few weeks, and
This is exactly what we're talking
Exactly.
about.
The
We're
critical
like,
friends that get you
we're
through.
like, you see it now, and you're like, oh man, it was an overnight success. Must have been easy. All right, Josh. So
Awesome.
this is a beautiful moment in the story. Let's just fast forward and just humor me for a second and brag a little bit. What's Angling AI doing today? What's it look like today?
we're going to do
it looks a lot
2.7
different.
to 2.8 this year,
2.7,
which is our
2.8.
biggest year. Last year we
Get
did
it.
2.4, right? And we're not
So
tripling
just
year over year.
how many molds is that, so people understand what that
Roughly about 30,000 molds.
30,000 molds.
Yes.
Through an e-commerce platform, selling these on your website
Direct
all
to
over the
consumer.
country, direct to consumers. It's crazy.
It's a lot
That's
of work.
fantastic.
Let's talk a little bit about today. I mean, you started with a product. What do you do? What do you guys got going on now? What does it look like today? What's the product portfolio?
Oh, well, we are going to be launching our new product. Am I doing show and tell?
Yeah.
So we are going to be launching a new product category that will be first to market in our little niche that no one else has figured out how to do. I don't know if I'm showing this or if I'm just talking, because if it's a podcast, you can see me holding
there's
this,
cameras you can
right?
show.
Both.
And so we've developed our own version of one of the most popular baits being purchased right now that retails for around $18. When buying my mold system for this, my customers will be able to make the same style bait that will have probably a little better enhanced performance than the ones off the shelf, because I feel like I know what I'm doing. And they're going to be able to manufacture one of these for $2.
Man.
So we're hoping that one, first to market, half of my customers have their own little store, their own little website. And so they are all entrepreneurs in their own right. And so when they find out that they can make this for $2 and they're competing against an off the shelf bait that cost $18, And I can promise you it's going to have all the same features. It's going to look just like something that was made by a major manufacturer. When they see that, that's the fuel for them, right? That's their rocket fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
It's
Cafe
funny.
fuel over there. Get that
It's
rocket
funny
fuel.
as I think about it, Josh, because I'm laughing at the story, thinking about your truck blowing up, and obviously now I've seen your truck, and you've solved that problem.
Yes,
The
it's
truck,
nice.
you got a check in the truck box now. You're paying the bills. I mean, I see your signs in the community, you're sponsoring, community events and Little League baseball, and all. You've done it, man. You've done it, and so one question I think is unique to angling AI. It's not just a success story. Look what Josh did, but you have one of the most unusual things I've seen in the companies that I get to be around and work with is you have like a fanatic fan base. I mean, people are enthusiastic about they're not just buying your product. There's Facebook groups, there's channels. People are making YouTube videos. They're posting pictures. They're being in contests. They're talking about you guys. It is like, there's a community of artists, if you will. Look what I made. Look what look at the fish I hooked with this lure from England. Can you just talk about how did you build? Why do you think you have this like fan base and not just a customer base that's going to buy the next cheap mold that somebody makes out of China? Like, why do you have enthusiasm like that?
Well, honestly, we're known for the best quality in the world. So when people take this on at the very beginning and they get immediate results of like, what did I just make? Holy crap, look at this. And then it takes off from there. But we have wonderful customer service. Like let's talk about it as a whole. As a company, we're there to support our customers. And when they call on the phone, we actually answer, right? We talk to them, we help them out. But then we also foster them. We bolster them with confidence and let them know what they need to be to do to be successful. That's unfortunately what people call old school business, right? And that it really is, because everyone talks about back in the day, at least me, I'm going to date myself, back in the day when you used to go in and you used to talk to someone, right? And if we still do that. Right. We have this personal connection with our customer base, and we provide a platform for them to showcase and
post
pictures. And if someone's having a problem, like not everyone's gonna come on or buy one of our products and get it exactly right. And yeah, sometimes there's someone's like, what the heck's wrong with this mold and blah blah blah. We've got 10 people going, wait a minute, hold up. Are you doing this and that? No, I didn't. Oh my gosh, this is the best bait I've ever seen.
Are like customer servicing.
Yeah, they're like customer service.
Somebody will be like, this didn't work, and then 10 people will be like, you did it wrong.
So, and I can't come up with all of that for myself.
Right.
There's a little company here in Jackson called Agile Grow Shop that we bounce a lot of ideas off of, and they just happen to be my marketing company. So not everything is mine, but in that group, when we're in those sessions,
most of the good stuff.
When we're in that group and we're in those sessions, it is just electric, right? It's like we were meant to like hang out together and come up with all these wonderful ideas. And look what we get to do after we leave a meeting like that. We get to give people an experience.
Yeah, but I think if I could say anything about you as a person, Josh, I feel like you're somebody who takes care of people. I see that in your employees. You take care of all of your employees. You're a great employer. And I'm sure that trickles down to how you take care of your customers. They feel taken care of. And I feel like that adds so much to a fan base. So kudos to you for doing that.
You.
Yeah.
You can thank my mother. Right?
I'll thank your mother too.
My mother owned her own business.
God bless her.
She took care of all of her customers. She was a beautician. And the beauty shop was in the house, right? And so mom did more than hair. She gave advice. She told people what they needed to do. I remember people knocking on the door at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, just bawling because they just turned their hair purple. And back then you didn't do that, right? Not in the 80s and 90s. You didn't necessarily do that because they did the home thing, and mom would cuss them out. And then she'd go, all right, get in a chair. I'll fix it up, So you have to care. I
You
mean,
do.
you have to not just.
Well,
It's not always about the money, and I have some wonderful stories about like why shouldn't it be about the money, right?
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's a little bit unique too, Josh, about what you've done is like, I mean, I fish a little, right? Not like you fish, but I'll
I don't
slay
get
some
to fish
crappie
much.
from time to time, do some walleye fishing. Josh and I fish together. But the real fishermen out there, fisher people, men and women,
Anglers.
anglers, is that
Yes.
what they say? The real anglers out there, you can't fake them out. These people are into it. They know it works, right? And so I think what's unique about angling AI, part of why you have such a following is like you are a guy that knows about it at an intimate level. So when you're making a soft plastic bait, it's like
Yeah.
you're testing it. You know, we've been out on the water like, hey, I just made this mold and I'm testing the way that this thing moves. I'm testing the way the fish react to it. And so like the real enthusiast out there, they're not just buying something off a shelf at Walmart. They're buying something that's been tested by like a legit dude. And I think that's part of where the fanaticism comes from.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think there's a lesson in there, you know, for the audience of like, when I meet a lot of entrepreneurs, right? At Lean Rocket Lab, we talked to a lot of entrepreneurs. And a lot of times people will come in and they're like, oh, I'm going to go solve this problem in an industry or an area I know nothing about. And I always sit there and I'm like, man, that's so presumptuous. Like you think you're going to walk in and like you are in it.
Yeah.
You're like in the fishing world, doing the thing. And you're like, man, I'm going to make this for myself. I know this can be better. And people, I mean, you just watch the guys doing the reviews on YouTube. Like these are real dudes out there, you know, fishing. And so I think that's part of it, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's, I never wanted to make anything that I wouldn't buy myself.
Right.
And I'm a perfectionist.
Right. Yeah.
So I have a question, Josh. What if you could give one piece of advice to an entrepreneur who maybe has a similar road to what you had as far as your journey to get to where you are today? What would that advice be?
I have three things.
Okay.
Right? First is surround yourself with good people and like-minded people, right? Put yourself in that environment, immerse yourself in the same pool. If you want to swim in that pool, go swim in that pool. Don't sit over here, right? Surround yourself with good people that are like-minded and create relationships that are beneficial to both of you, right? That's one. Second, nothing replaces hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. There are so many times I spent what should have taken an hour, took a week,
Right.
right? Because I didn't have any answers and I didn't know where to ask.
Like
So
that bait that's in your hand right now.
Yes, this is a 7.5 month project with a 2.5 month timeline.
Let's go. Let's go.
But nothing replaces hard work. Like if you're determined, and you'll do it.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
right. That's right.
You will. And then third, have a higher purpose. Right?
Mm.
So one of the things that I remember most, and I won't, there's a much bigger story to this, but I'll just put it at this. I drove past this little church one day, and on it said, "When you're hungry, give bread." And I have ever since that day, I have done that. And so that's why, you know, we're fostering entrepreneurs. We're helping. We're trying to help, you know, young kids, baseball teams to whatever. Right? When you're hungry, give bread. It comes back tenfold. I promise you.
No doubt
And
about
it fills your heart and makes your soul happy. And that is the true purpose of why angling AI is as successful as it is today, because it's not in my hands.
Man,
That was,
just got like
I did
chills
too.
over
I
here,
have like goosebumps. That's fantastic, Josh.
anglingai.com.
And yes, sir.
Go get some molds, get started, try it out. It's incredible. 30 seconds. Wrap us up here, Josh, with this. Why would somebody even want to make a mold in the first place? Like, why do people even, you know, I can go buy a bag of soft plastic lures for a couple bucks at Walmart. Why should I get into the mold making game if I'm new, right? Not if I'm pro bass fisherman, but I'm like a novice. Why should I do it?
Well, why? It's like, because you get to make it your way, right? If you are an angler, I can promise you, you've used a lot of baits that have failed you, but now you have the ability to put your fishing destiny in your own hands.
Your fishing destiny. I love it.
And honestly, you can say, all right, well, if I make this initial investment, I'm going to make these baits and they're going to cost how much? And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why would I ever purchase molds off the shelf when, you know, once these products are paid for, and we can do math all day long, but I mean, best thing in the world. Most popular soft plastic bait in the world right now costs $9 for 8 of them. You can buy my molds for $169, and you can buy the materials to make them for less than $1 a bag, for less than 8, for less than 80 cents a piece.
Well, and I think too, like there's the fishing aspect of it. There's the doing it your way. I mean, for me, and I've gotten some molds from Josh, and the part that I underappreciated when I first started was like, it's become a cool activity for me and my boys. You know, we're like doing it together. We're making lures and testing them out on the water. And I'll tell you right now, you catch a fish on a lure you bought at the store, it's got a lot different feeling than when you catch one on 100%. One that you made. Like, you want to see a 10-year-old be enthusiastic, catch a big old bass on something you whipped up yourself. It's a cool deal. Well, Josh, thank you, man, for being here.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for telling us the story. Thank you so much, Josh. This
you
has
were
been great.
You were an incredible inaugural guest.
Oh my gosh, so good. Such good advice. Love it.
You are truly doing great things, man, and you're doing it with a great heart. I'm honored to be your friend, and we're just thankful to have you on today. So thank you so much, man. The first episode of the Startup Storytelling Podcast. Josh Clark, Angling AI, Alex Masten, co-host. Thanks so much, Alex. This was fun.
Yeah, it was.
You guys have been awesome.
Yes. Thanks. Round of applause.
Woo. Good job,
Josh.
Oh, thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you don't miss a future episode. And we will be back next time with another entrepreneur from our great community. Until then, keep moving, keep growing, keep building, keep innovating. Bye, everybody.